Revelation 2515. From the 17th of October 1942. Abilities. Task. Regression. New Earth. The human being is the highest evolved living being on Earth and therefore is also given a task which matches his degree of maturity. He is able to fulfill this task if he wants to, and precisely this will is tested, is meant to make the decision. For only the will determines whether the human being completes the task, whether he uses his abilities and lives expediently during his final embodiment. He is by no means forced to do so, and therefore earthly life will give him countless tasks to carry out. Thus the actual task is not particularly emphasized, instead he should carry it out as part of his earthly activities, to shape himself into highest possible maturity on earth. If he ignores this task, he nevertheless goes on living his earthly life, but his soul's imperfect degree of maturity remains. And for this he has to justify himself before God, because he was only given his earthly life to perfect his soul. Hence he misused it if he merely performed his earthly activities for his own advantage, or he disregarded it and thus disrespected God's mercy. The earth was his home and he was allowed to incarnate as a highly developed being. He was already in a state of maturity with many abilities of his own, yet he lived his life no more consciously than the prehistoric human being. He only used his intellect and volition for an earthly activity of no lasting value, and he used God's strength to do so. He merely used it for worldly ends, to increase his own comfort such that it only increased other people's desire to do the same. And thereby the earth became unsuitable for the soul's higher development. That is, the world predominates and keeps such hold of the human being that he completely forgets his soul. Hence the time has come which necessitates a change if human beings should get to know their true task and live correctly again. The earth has to change again, it has to become again what it once had been and should be. A place of education for the spirit where the world does not predominate but is purely the means to an end. The world has to be created again, it has to be restructured, it has to shelter human beings who consciously strive towards their final maturity, who use all their God-given abilities purely for the attainment of their soul's maturity because they realize that this is the true purpose of their embodiment on earth. Amen.